today so far, I got my haircut. I've done a bit more research. I'm looking at the next place. We're figuring things out as Amy's going through what's happening in the UK, and I'm hoping that she's somewhat documenting that to make sure that the story is captured. I'm heading out on a Friday. On a Friday, I'm usually doing an event, and it's a Zoom event, and it's what I call sales social, and it's mostly people in sales online. They get together in Zoom. I walked this yesterday, of which it was all documented, and came out a little bit unprepared because I didn't have any battery packs, I didn't have my laptop, I didn't really know where I was going. I was in flip-flops. I had a great fucking time yesterday. I ended up meeting Saba in that steakhouse, but I was definitely underprepared. And now I've got shoes on, I've got my bag with me. I mean, I feel way better about coming out now. One of the goals is to connect with as many people as possible. And yeah, so today this is what happened. I went and got my hair cut, but to be honest, not a lot happened with my hair. Like a little freshen up on the sides, but I spent most of the time in that chair getting my eyebrows plucked. I got this golden mask facial, and yeah, basically I got this masculine man grooming session, which was fun. So I did that. I also met a guy called Mika in the apartment building, in the lift. He was in the lift when I was in there, and spoke to him. And I went into his apartment today because I got his WhatsApp number, and the plan was to basically find out the apartments he was renting. He's into real estate around here, so I met him, went into his place today, looked at his apartment, same building as me, very different, but I just learned a fuck ton from speaking to him. I'm gonna log into a Wi-Fi, maybe run the sales social event. I've got shoes on, I've got battery packs. It's Friday night. See if the energy's any different. But I feel good so far. I definitely feel right now my best point of action of like what to do next would be to continue dragging out my stay whilst I get done what I need to get done. So there's a few things business-wise I need to do. One of them is open up a bank. Definitely start there. Get a little bit more information, a little bit more experience here, and then if it all makes sense, I will open up a business. But one of the other components of what I need to do, quite honestly, is look at long-term rentals. Look at some places that me and Amy could call a home. And for me, as a solo man wandering around, it's easy. It's easy for me because I'm a fucking simple man. With Amy and Shadow, and then the potential of building a family, I've got to weigh up the reality of garden space. I even said that to Mika, his name was. I said, do you have any apartments with garden space? And you know, it was like I spoke to him in a completely different language. Certain environments just don't enable you to live healthy or holistically, because you essentially will become your environment no matter what you do. And then embedded in certain cultures and places, there's habits and lifestyles and rituals that are a part of the culture. Went to that steakhouse again, got a steak, obviously, got a steak, did the sales social, had a good conversation with Connor. Good steak, I mean, can't really complain. Walking back, I forget how late it is actually here, because Georgia is 2 hours ahead, even of Serbia. So I'm 3 hours ahead of UK time where Amy is, and that means I'm very ahead for US time. And I forget how late it is, and I was speaking to one of the staff there as she was finishing, and she's telling me she's going to some bar. So I get a sense here that like the culture, it goes late, it goes into early hours, because even there, I don't know whether it's because it's attached to a hotel or it's just whatever it is, but the steakhouse is open until, they just closed off there about 1, but I think last orders is 1:30 midnight, so that's still relatively late. And now I don't really know what I'm doing. These problems will come towards you every day. You don't have to do much. They will come at you. And you got to handle them as they come. And I've dealt with those today. Whatever they've been. There's some interesting stuff here. That's definitely like... I mean, this is like a dream world. The architecture of that hotel, the different levels here, and I'm actually going to go up there. The different levels here in the gradient, like that's like a 30-degree hill. Yeah, one of the things I'm making an effort to do right now, which is a lot different to what I used to do, but is I don't acknowledge any of the animals really, not in a direct way, and if I do, it's very rarely now. I went through a phase of learning a hell of a lot about dogs, and I really realized the best, most neutral way to interact with them is no touch, no talk, no eye contact. That was actually Caesar Milan's line. Yeah, that was actually Caesar Milan's line. So I kind of adopted that and then applied it everywhere, and have stayed with it since. And when I see them, I just don't touch, talk, or really eye contact. I'm not scared to do so. I don't feel like they're dangerous. But if you look at randomly some of the footage that's on YouTube of me, you'll see me attracting these cows. And part of that cow attraction is not trying. You know what I mean? And that not trying is like they come to me. I think it's a more natural way to pull towards you what wants to come towards you. And not being concerned about pulling things towards you that aren't for you. And even just walking through this street is an example of it. No matter where I am universally, like, people are people, they're diverse. Even if there's a generalization from a culture and how people are, there's still this diversification of outcome. So I went in a shop, got a little apple, tasted water, and I'll be real with you. Not everyone wants to be your friend, and that doesn't mean they want to be your enemy. It just means they don't give a fuck about hospitality or like your feelings or your expectations. I mean, it's one of the most pure, real ways of communicating, and it's very helpful. It's very helpful not to take it seriously. Look at this. That, I mean, when I say this place is like a dream, it's like this place design-wise. Look at that. Boom. Terrace. That fucking stands out. Here's a good thing as well. Like, with Bolt, there's a easy way. Even if I walk really far, look at that. Even if I walk really far, I can just get a Bolt and go straight back to the apartment, which is good. Okay, that's pretty impressive, right in the center there. And these buildings and that, this is where it really starts to get, you know, it's in your face, the architecture, the reality of what's happening. Dog's having a good time, tail's wagging. Have a little bit of music. Always a universal thing is music. No matter what, music will connect with you. You don't have to understand the words. You don't have to be a genius. You can genuinely be a baby. Yeah, so also at the very least, even if I'm capturing Georgia in the most raw way, you know, we're sold a lot through media and news and people around us and associates. We're sold shit all the time that we might not realize we buy into. We might not even realize that, but it's an adopted part of our character or belief system, that this place is dangerous, or this place is great, or this is like that. And you don't really know until you get involved with it, but more importantly, experience and feel it. Because everything else is secondary. Like, someone else's experience is filtered through the level of perception that they have and the dynamics of their interest and everything else. But when you get there, it's the sharpest, most personal. Look at that place. Look at just how white it is. Looking like that's a glitch in the Matrix. What you actually do in that room, that's where you get taken to the infinity store. It's all white and you order your guns and it's fucking sliding in. Another thing, seeing police officers and stuff reminds me of is to learn more about the political tension here. Not to involve or engage with it, but the political tension is an important part of the culture, and I almost started to feel like I was getting involved with it in Serbia. That's not to say I was, but certainly what was happening was I was understanding it more. I was getting it, and I was getting it because I was speaking to the local people, the actual people. And here's the thing: what people? You've got to be able to connect with the people you can somewhat put some trust into, and that is sometimes a more tricky game, but the reality is you can these days tell quite quick, strategically, right? And you just think it's not a definitive metric, but it is an indicator. Did you get jabbed? You know, over this campaign, over this propaganda, did you get jabbed? Because that will say something about you. And then when you figure out what that is, you know, you can maybe begin to bend your will and your influence and your dynamic, or maybe not. Let me tell you what's going on right now. Very humid, I'm sweating. I'm wandering down the street. Having a camera is definitely a friend. It's an important pillar to you anchoring yourself into the awareness that you're always with yourself, and that's the only shit that matters. And if you want to know more about my very successful music career, this is fascinating. These roads, mate. These roads, look at these roads, man. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, my very successful music career. One of the tracks that came out of a season of freestyle and kind of transcendental looping of the same music. One of the things was a track called Control the World Around You, and it's like a 9 or 10 minute beat that I freestyled over, and just like tiny little bit of production value. Really, it's a draft. All it is a draft. But it was good enough for me to listen in private and loop it. And because I was just freestyling it, what I ended up doing was channeling the deeper message that I have to offer. And you know, that track speaks for itself. But near the end, as it switches, I'm talking about control the world around you. And there's a few clips that Nyasha recorded of me some time ago talking about this. But it's one of my grounding principles is the understanding, like the world isn't a real place as such. What I'm walking on right now is a position and a point on Earth. That's what I'm walking on. I'm walking on Earth. The world is a perception of something. You know, you could say it's real through perception, yeah, but it's not a real thing. Is the only way I can discern that. And you make it real by the psychological response to it. So you're in this position where you can control your world, conscious or unconscious of that, you can, and control the world around you is a mantra that I control the world around you, that I freestyled into this track. And it's just all about basically owning your space. It's actually better recognized through contrast. I felt like another organ of a city. Yeah, there's a hell of a lot going on. Up there. There's a lot happening. Sounds like live music. Yeah, there is. River down there. Some of these places look okay. I'm right in the alleys now. This is crazy, some of it. A bit too loud. I'll see you, I'm coming back down. Well, that's nice. He tried to invite me into one place. It's nice to be invited. He got me, that guy. The architecture for the nightlife here is unbelievable. Let's see what's up here. Might end up going back down. There was one place that actually looked a little pulling in. Okay, so I'm back here. Oh, right. I'm by the bridge. This is actually good because going up there, going up in that direction, takes me back to the apartment. And let me see. There's a bridge down there somewhere. I'm walking now. I'm going to walk down here. But I was half tempted to turn back and go into that place. There was a place that looked empty. It had pretty inviting couches. But right now, I'm going to the other side of this roundabout. But at least now I know my bearings and my whereabouts. I'm doing this front view. Again, to get the rawest look at Georgia nightlife. Walking the streets, feel pretty safe. I'm always on edge. Anyway, in a healthy way. Like I'm just prepared for the unexpected as much as I can be. Get a good sweat on, man. All right, I'm on it. Jesus, what is that place? Yeah, it's a pretty fucking cool bridge, actually. it's like the People's Bridge or something, I can't remember. But when I looked at the architecture, I was thinking, you really go out your way to put the roof on, to put the glass on it. Think about it, you could just build this bridge. This bridge does what a bridge is supposed to do. What does the rest do? You know? What does the rest of this do? It either just becomes part of the architectural design as a no-brainer because it's holding up the structure, or more specifically there's actually a maybe a financial benefit to it. You know, if you get more tourism to your town because, you know, the architecture or whatever looks good. I don't know how the sound will pick up now. I've got the mic on. It's either going to be much better or potentially even worse. But I went into a place, aircon, Wi-Fi, wine. I mean, there's some vibes about that in there. There's loads of different energies about. When you got a woman behind the bar, she's got a cigarette hanging out of her mouth. It's culture. And now, like, I know I'm done. You know, I'm going to wander back. You know, I'm not in a rush, but I'm wandering back. I'm just thinking about snacks or food that I have back at the house. But I have some electrolytes, make sure I feel good, fresh in the morning. But I know when to go back. And here's the reality. The reality for me is this situation where I'm able to enjoy the liberty of doing this. There's no way, even if I did that with Amy, there's no way it's remotely close to the same, because I pick up on what's going on in Amy. She doesn't want to go out and do anything that revolves around this like high energy stuff. And for the most part, neither do I. And I actually say the same for Amy. For the most part, she doesn't want to do that, but she'll go to a drum and bass rave. She'll go to a drum and bass rave, be in a sweaty rave for hours and just dance to drum and bass. You got to know what your vibe is, right? And here, I mean, comparatively to nightlife in most places, on the surface it all looks similar. But there's a massive difference here. There's some class and grace about it, actually. There's some class and grace about Georgia, at least, what I've experienced and witnessed so far. You know, it's 3 in the morning, whatever the time is. Oh, this is crazy. Look at these, like 24/7 bars. Little cool vibes, like, hey, this is sick. If I'm with a different group of people, I'm having a vastly different night. You can take that to the bank. I'm having a vastly different night if I'm with different people. The first thing I feel is aircon. Yeah, that's the first thing I feel is aircon. So that's a nice feeling. That's actually a good indicator of how fucking warm it is as well. How much? So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna do this on the fucking, on the old, or whatever the fuck this thing is. Yeah. Oh my days. Oh no, actually. It's going to need to be done here, isn't it? Yep. So I'm going to make these noodles. And get some electrolytes. Take some supplements. Overall, I just kind of documented all of it now. So here, I haven't put this on yet. Okay, there's that. Let's take my supplements. Got a couple extra bags of chocolate covered goodies. Hazelnuts and some kind of berry. This is a perfect time where I don't care what anyone says. Coming home to your dog and your family is one fantastic feeling. It really is. It really is. So that's the sting of being here on my own right now. And it's not lonely. It's not necessarily lonely. I mean, I've been talking to myself all fucking night. You know what I mean? It's just I love and miss my family. So I found the gym. Well, I knew where the gym was, but I signed up for the gym. I've only got 12 sessions. The thing is, right now for me, I am here in this one location. The gym's basically in this complex of buildings. And I only have this place booked for 11 nights. So I'm gonna have to, I've got my next place booked. I'm gonna have to find a gym. If it's not this one, I'll find another one closer to where my place is and get in there. But that felt unbelievably good. When you find an anchoring point, like you get in a gym, there's a great sense of fulfillment from it, because there's right now there's not a particular work demand from me, apart from obviously the work I need to do whilst I'm here. And I've said this many different times, like me, but I think generally people, particularly men, if you don't have something to do and something to focus on and an outlet for your energy, you will get depressed. You will just decline. The world is built to the fine line of go nowhere, order your food to your house, and fucking get fat, or walk to the gym and go and get a session in. So I'm glad to have got the session in. I actually met a guy called Gio as well, who was a good touch point. So I saw a guy that was doing pad work in the gym, and he was you could tell he was a thick, strong motherfucker. You just know when you look at someone, right? There's difference between a very polished look from someone that's like a bodybuilder that goes to the gym, a very polished look and they look athletic, but the reality of the situation is most of the time those bodybuilders can be very strong, but they've got no functional transferable strength. And I've felt that many times in my training. So when you see a guy that's like a gorilla, these people like, yeah, they're ruthless. So yeah, when you see like a gorilla type in the gym, you notice it. I could see him a mile off. You know, he's I guess he is Georgian. And two things: one, obviously an opportunity for me to connect and find someone to speak with, and then be in a situation where I could connect with a fighter. And he's actually a champion in some form. His Instagram photo is him, a belt strapped round in the middle of the ring, a belt strapped round his shoulder. And he's more of an MMA coach, so obviously I've been focused on boxing. I don't necessarily want to veer away from boxing because I end up doing too much generalization and not enough specific work. And I kind of not... You get better, but you're not really good at anything. You're just okay at some things. I wanted to touch on a specific point where I was thinking in my mind as I was in that gym. Like, I've never been in that gym, never walked in there, and some people are absolutely petrified of going into new places. Some people are scared shitless to go into new places, let alone a gym, let alone a martial arts or a boxing gym. And I've felt that, and I'm aware of that in myself, but I could quite honestly say there with confidence that I am completely unfazed by anything around me. Like, the more your central nervous system can relax in a place, the better. And I felt super relaxed. And again, I think that comes from more and more time in some kind of combat training as well. Yeah, because the more that you get into, and this is one thing I knew about bodybuilding, you become dysmorphic is the word I'm thinking of. You become this dysmorphic where you believe, you know, no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you've gained or grown, you're looking at yourself like this isn't enough. This isn't enough. Hence where the steroids come in. Hence where, you know, I want to get that extra 5 kilograms on my deadlifts, and all the kind of additional shit that you can do comes in. But anyway, I walked into that place and I felt super confident, and I want to make it very clear that I'm not delusional. I'm aware of danger around me. I'm also grounded. I'm also very humble. And I'm a realist. One of the things that stands out to me when you do combat training or some form is how do I say? I know the people that could actually fuck me over, that could murder me, quite frankly and honestly. The people that are very, very good at fighting, you know, dangerous people, are the least likely people to hurt or attack you if you have common sense, if you're not pushing any boundaries, if you're not disrespecting people, which is, you know, sometimes mistakenly done. I'm not doing that. So those people are the least to worry about, and anyone that does some form of martial arts knows it. Anyone that does some form of martial art knows it. Like the more you become experienced and good, you've had to go through loads and loads of rounds of being humbled and losing and being choked out and potentially even being knocked out, whatever it is. So you get to a point where you feel more and more safe, particularly if I come out to, again, a country like Georgia feels safe. There was never anything I was concerned about coming here, but still, I've never been here. So you begin to get into this situation where more and more, I guess, relaxation and comfort comes knowing, forget fighting, even if you're just fit, even if you just don't get tired and you can stay relaxed in a confrontational situation. And I like to think that if you are dealing with someone that wants to initiate trouble with you, that person likely is untrained. So you don't have to worry about them. Like when you understand just distance, you literally just walk away. Like no one can sucker punch you from 20 meters away. You can just walk away. It starts to give you more and more confidence. The association with martial arts makes you think of fighting. But it's actually quite the opposite. You know, my brothers used to get into fucking trouble all the time. Full disclosure, you know, respectfully. And then my brothers, and of course there's some kind of underlying love for them. But they've both been to fucking jail for some kind of trouble or fights. So, yeah, I'm in this situation where I'm feeling incredibly passionate when I speak to parents and they're like, well, I don't know whether to get my son or even daughter into martial arts. And it's like, just start with fucking jiu-jitsu or something. Just start with something. Like, you'll feel it when you go there. Like, they will know that. And there's good examples with celebrities as well, where there's Tom Hardy, for example. Tom Hardy's a great ambassador right now, an advocate for jiu-jitsu, and he actually ended up joining a place called Reorg, and I believe it was a jiu-jitsu gym that was niched and specifically focused on war vets that come out of war, and they struggle to integrate back into society, which is, you know, obvious. And Tom Hardy found himself going in there, and he speaks about this openly again, like his first impressions, didn't know what it was going to be like, and it was good for him because being an actor, and you're, you know, there's variance to acting, but you become someone. If you're Bane, if you're, what's another big Tom Hardy film that, how can I say, a Tom Hardy film apart from Bane? Oh, Legend, I don't know, like whatever it fucking is, you need to reintegrate into society because people associate you with these characters. They have these imprints of you. And he speaks about it highly as a great way to neutralize. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that steak place again, just because I know it's a safe bet. I can go there and get steak. Another thing that I definitely feel is happening because I'm on my own is I'm getting more comfortable with this camera. Like, this camera has become my partner in a way, and I know that's because I'm probably not having to look around more or focus on Amy's safety or anything else that's happening, and just being with that energy. So this experience being here on my own is definitely unlocking many different things. And I mean, it's very lively down here. The foundations, I need to be simple. I can't be using up a lot of mental bandwidth just to find a fucking gym. You know, these got to be basic, simple things. So then the real focus goes into connecting with real estate agents, people that are connected to property, people that are in situations that I can just get a lot of downloads on the culture. If I end up doing personal training with Gio, I think his name, Gio or Gio, whatever happens, I'm beginning to integrate. And there's a whole other world happening back in the UK where Amy is, and I'm in tandem back and forth with her about it. And one thing's clear, it makes no sense at all, 0 sense, for me to go back to the UK. And it came up for a split second simply because we miss each other right now. And, you know, that's normal. We've been together 14 years this year, and we're with each other all the time. For good reason. Me and Amy have a very special type of relationship. It's also very healthy to not... I'm going to go here. It's also very healthy not to be constantly surrounded by that same environment. But I miss her, but it makes no sense for me to come back to the UK. And there's focuses that she needs to get right with her health back in the UK, mainly around dentistry, of which I'm sure she will talk about in her own way. Come out of that steak place again. It's turning into a bit of a night series because they're shutting up shop at about 1 a.m. So it's a pretty good indicator where my focus is at that time and my energy level. So what I may end up having to do, which whatever I adapt to, I adapt to. But I am in this situation where I would, speaking of the salt baths. The salt baths are the component I would like to integrate regularly, like maybe even just once a week. That would be good to get the sulfur baths in once a week, and they're all just here. See if I can get the sulfur baths in, the gym in, training, all the basics. I go to the same steakhouse. I can get adjusted to this environment. But is this environment adjustable for family? That's one thing I've got to try and touch on while I'm here, is food and supplies. Because it's easy for me on my own to order a food takeaway, whatever it is. It's easy for me to do that. But it's not sustainable. I don't even want to do that. There's just a convenience element to it right now where my mental bandwidth is fucking just so much elsewhere. And to be honest, the environment there doesn't encourage cooking. And the art of cooking to me is very enjoyable. I really like to cook. And I can cook anywhere, but the trigger to do it isn't as strong if the kitchen is shit. I realise I've got to up my tempo of walk. I've got to be on this on the gear that I'm going somewhere. I've got somewhere to fucking be. This walking is great though. I'm wearing these Vivo barefoots that just make it the easiest for me to walk as far as possible. Yet tonight feels way different. It's like a way different energy tonight. There's a woman there losing her mind. Losing her mind. Then you know you're in a place of nature. So I don't know why I'm being pulled down this specific way. I came here I did come here yesterday. One thing I do feel, and it probably always look it from the pavement, but the apprehension to drive, I definitely feel here. I definitely feel here that there's this fucking more ruthlessness. It seems the more you go east, the more this just turns into a fucking, almost like a riot or a mosh pit effect. Like, I haven't been on the road and there's a big difference. That looks like a tree, but it's actually a sculpture. Wow, is that carved from a tree? No, it's brass, metal statue. I mean, look at that little mount over there as well. It's like, what Georgia likely has underneath its earth. Think of it as like the dragons. They are underneath the earth. St. George and the Dragon, the story. What if the reality was it was always underneath? It's a theory, at least. It's at least a theory. I'm feeling way better pulled away from crowded areas right now. Oh shit. Oh shit, this thing goes up. I've been seeing this thing. I've been seeing this like M squared, like it's like a brand. I'm seeing they're up in the air now. That it's crazy right now. And you've got to understand that they're going to begin to start the alien marketing campaign soon. I mean officially, because it's already happening. Coming down this way, it's like completely knocked my bearings, but I know what's about to happen is I'm going to enter a familiar zone again. Oh yeah, there it is. And my brain's then going to be like, that's where you are. And there I am. In the heat of the park, baby. Up here. One thing I do wish there was, which maybe I can find one, but a say like a coffee shop type one, and in that coffee shop I had Wi-Fi, a coffee access. I still know that there's a fundamental revolutionary upgrade that needs to happen to any type of service based hospitality, like going into a cafe or coffee shop more, because it triggers work. So if you're working, you get nap pods, or there's at least systems in there that cater towards you napping. So this is a fairly busy little intersection here. There's a lot of spas around. There's a lot of these convenience stores, but this is way past 1 AM. I don't know exactly when it is. But you just look at the flow of traffic. You know, it could potentially be a closing time as well, so everyone's coming back. But still, reality, there's a lot of traffic now. We are in the capital. We're home. Strategically. Like a ninja. Like a ninja. That was it. Today. Bye. I have a mailing list. Would you believe it? And that mailing list is where I provide all exclusive, uncensored information, wisdom, tools, free resources, invitations. Yeah, now all the kind of basic stuff. And I realized what I have to offer often gets me pulled off social media. So the only way I can give you this direct source of wisdom is on the mailing list. Shut your mouth. Have you?